Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we're going to be looking at the Tier 5 Russian Premium, the Churchill III. Now, I kept sort of referring to this when I did the Matilda review the other day, the Matilda 4 that is, but I'd not done a review of this, and a couple of people have asked me, so yeah, here we are. I'm surprised I've not done one of this actually, because it's one of the, if you're starting out in World of Tanks, and you're going down the Russian line and you want something for a crew trainer, this is the one you want to get. It has a 78% XP bonus on it, which is absolutely fantastic and kind of ridiculous at the same time, because that is a very, very high XP bonus. And it also has a 57% silver bonus as well, which is quite good, so it can earn quite a bit of money. Now, it is a Churchill, as you can see, and these were given to Russia on a Lend-Lease program. Now, it sort of looks like a cross between the Churchill 1 and the Churchill 7, but this one, like I say, Churchill 3. With regards to armour profile, it is basically the same as the Churchill 1. This just has the track covers or the track plates on, whichever you prefer to call it, but the turret is very similar. The gun is different. It is similar to one of the ones that you do get on the Churchill 1, but it's not the same as the fully upgraded one, but there are a couple of other slight differences as well. So I think we'll get into the packages and start looking at it. Oh, and also it gets preferential matchmaking, so it doesn't see higher than Tier 6. Now, it does get a slightly bigger engine. Fully upgraded Churchill 1 gets 350 horsepower, this has 374, so that does actually translate into the acceleration slightly, and you can also make it give it a bit more oomph on the acceleration front by putting the I think it's the gasoline on, or whatever it is, Lend-Lease oil, something like that, which I've also got on it. Now, the gun you've got equipped on this is a quick-fire 6-pounder Mark 5. 26.25 rounds a minute, 110 pen and 75 damage, with 180 and 75 on your premium rounds. No HR on this. You do have a worse aiming time on this gun, on this tank though. On the normal Churchill it's about 1.7, 1.9 second aiming time, and it's 2.29 for this one, with a pretty poor accuracy of 0.43. You do have a slower hull traverse as well at 20 degrees a second over the standard Churchill, but I think the turret traverse is about the same at 34, 350 meter view range and a 570 meter signal range, which can be a bit of an issue at times when you're at the other side of the larger maps trying to keep in touch with the rest of your team. Now, your rounds, 45 for your armour piercing, so quite nice and cheap, but 2,400 for your APCR, and with the rate of fire on this, if you're firing APCR, you can fire a lot of them in a very short amount of time, so do bear that in mind. However, like I say, 57% silver bonus, so you probably still make money, but with it only ever playing up to Tier 6, I've not had to fire APCR very often at all. Equipment wise, I've gone for the gun lane drive because the aiming time is not brilliant. I've gone for the gun rammer just to improve the already good rate of fire, and I've gone for vents just to try and improve everything else. Consumables, well, I've just gone for your standard repair and first aid kit, but I have put the Lend-Lease oil on it, I think it is. Yeah, Lend-Lease oil, plus 5 to engine power for the course of battle. It's 5,000 per battle, but I just find it quite useful on this, and it does sort of help out a bit as well. Skill wise, this is a crew from one of my other tanks, but you can't really go far wrong with it. Clutch braking, sixth sense, repairs, brothers in arms, off-road driving as well. You could also go for track mechanic if you wanted. You will get tracked a lot in this. And another one I would definitely recommend on this is smooth ride, and possibly even snapshot as well, because with the rate of fire on this thing, you can just keep moving and keep firing at an enemy, and even though you'll miss a few, you will hit them, and the rate of fire just wears everything down. It has got good DPM on this. Let's have a think. Cover the bonuses. Oh, it's 1,500 gold, by the way, and sits in the Soviet tech tree. It's in there all the time, and well, I did mention that with the Matilda at one point, this and the Matilda 4 were the only British vehicles in the game. Hit points is 700, which I think is about the same as the normal Churchill, but we'll look at the modules. Right, so 370 horsepower, like I said before, which translates to a power to weight ratio of 9.44 horsepower per tonne, which is slightly better than a normal Churchill, but not by much. Forward top speed of 28 kph and reverse of 14 with a 15% chance of fire, but it is quite a large engine block that takes up most of the rear of the tank. Quickfire 6-pounder, not very good elevation at only 12 degrees, and not particularly good depression either at -6, so you do have to bear that in mind. If anything gets above you, you are going to struggle to shoot up at it with only 12 degrees. Tracks, nice and large, just like they are on the normal Churchill. They actually circumnavigate, probably the wrong word, but they go around the hull basically. But you do have fairly, I don't know, the terrain resistances aren't great on this. I feel that they're slightly worse than the normal Churchill, but I don't have one fully upgraded to check them. But it's 1.14, 1.26 and 2.29, but I do feel that that's fairly average for the tier, if you see what I mean. But that's why I'd probably say you want off-road driving on it. And like I say, you definitely want clutch braking on there as well. Turret on top, radio in the back of the turret, same as the normal Churchill. Ammunition blocks in the side. Now, they're easy to locate because you can see that bit that's sticking out. You'll see that on the side of the tracks. My voice is going as well. And just to the right of the ammo block, as we're looking at it there is a hatch. So you basically shoot in between the hatch and the bit that's sticking out on the side, and you'll more than likely hit an ammo rack. But obviously it's not guaranteed, because obviously it's that percentage chance of whether it's going to get damaged or not. Concealment, 0.14 stationary and 0.07 on the move, so it's not a particularly stealthy machine. Crew members, you've got 5. You've got the driver and hull machine gunner or assistant driver down in the hull, and then you've got the 3 up in the turret, the gunner, the loader and the commander. Now, armour profile is pretty much the same as a fully upgraded Churchill one, although the turret armour is 1mm thinner. So the turret is 88 on the front, 88 on the sides, 76 on the rear, and the hull is 176 on the front, 76 on the sides and 51 on the rear. But it doesn't tell the whole story, and again it's basically the same armour profile as a Churchill 1. So 1:20, the top rear part of the turret, the whole top deck and the tracks fall into that, as do those smaller bits on the side that are sticking out there. I think they could be vents. I don't think they're exhausts, I think they're on the back, although I've not really paid much attention to the model. 21 to 30, sorry. The rear portion of the tracks, which are where the sort of rear drive wheels are maybe, and a strip across the back of the tank and the lower glacis, also the front part of the turret as well. So I mean, if that's 30mm and 90mm gun, mind you, I can't. Oh no, there are some stuff with 90mm down in the French line and stuff like this tier. So yeah, that angle part at the top of the turret at the front there, you could overmatch that with a 90mm gun. So yeah, if you're in a French tank, there's a good chance you'll have a 90mm. So again, bear that in mind. However, there's not much point, because if you do have a 90mm gun, you could probably just put it straight through the front of the turret like you could on a standard Churchill 1. Now, 31 to 50. Really complex armour profiles on these Churchills. As you can see, there's sort of patches all over it, surrounding the turret, surrounding parts of the hull, because the tracks do go around the hull. And of course, there's the sloped upper glacis there as well that falls into that category, as does the back, well, the rest of the back of the tank, apart from that strip we've already looked at, which is actually, looking at it now on the damage model, is spaced armour, that bit that we were looking at before there. Look, there you go. 51 to 70, small patch on either side of the tank. I think there is something there that could actually be those hatches that I was on about, but we'll have a look on the actual model. And then again, small patches on the front. You've got the machine gun port area, you've got the driver's viewport area as well. 71 to 90, well, that just encompasses the whole of the turret and the side of the tank, minus the other bits that we've already looked at. But if you notice those bits sticking out, which I'm assuming are vents of some kind, they are thinner armour with a hole behind them as well. So if you are struggling to get through the side of one of these, that might be a point to go for. 91 to 120, lower glacis and just part of the, well, at the base of the gun where it actually goes into the turret there, because it is mantle-less. 91 to 120 is the patch surrounding the driver's hatch, or the driver's viewport, should I say. No, sorry, 91 to 120 is that one. I don't know why I said 71 to 90. Yeah, 91 to 120 is that one. My preview window is a bit smaller. And then 161 to 190, which is actually 176. It's only in one place on the front, which is surrounding the driver, and it's the same on the Churchill. So the fronts of these aren't quite as well armoured as you would think. If you are shooting at the front of it and you are struggling to pen and you can't quite hit the turret, then basically the flat part to the left, as we're looking at it, of the driver's bit, so the left hand side of the tank is a bit weaker. But otherwise, you always want to try and go for the turret, just because it's easier to pen than the hull on one of these. But if you're in one of these things, it is all about the angling again, and you want to try and angle it so you try and hide that weaker part of the hull, the left hand side, or the right hand side, sorry, of your hull, and you want to try and angle it that way to try and protect it. It is very good at side scraping, but you can't sit out there because your turret front is weaker. So you know, you do have to bear that in mind. If you are side scraping close up, they could probably just put it through your turret, so you are going to have to keep moving in and out. Anyway, I think enough of me rambling on. Yeah, it is the hatch. So the bit I was on about actually with the ammo rack was the bit of track and the vent on the side, not the hatch. But that hatch is that other part of armour that I was on about, the square bit that is a bit weaker. But anyway, enough of me rambling on about this. Let's get into the gameplay and, well, see how it actually handles. Right, so here we are for the first of the replays, and it's Tier 5 match. Now, yesterday in this, I know it's got preferential matchmaking, but you don't always, you know, get a favourable one sometimes. Even if you've got preferential, you can be sort of mid-tier a lot of the time. But with this yesterday, I did get into a few Tier 6 matches, not many, and even then they weren't particularly heavily populated with Tier 6s. Sorry about that. Bang, that's the rabbit who's just been arsey. A bit like the guy who ran into me. It's kind of like running into a tree and blaming the tree. You know, I wasn't really moving anywhere. He hit me, but anyway. At this point, I've got the remove speed governor on it, because I thought I'd give it a try with the engine. I've never ever used one before. Didn't realise you had to press circle to actually activate them, and hate the damn thing, so I would never use one again, and can't really recommend them. I'd rather just stick the lease oil on. Now, I know I've changed my mind a little bit in this match. I was going one way, saw that there was plenty of people going the other, decided to go the other way because there weren't as many people going there, so yeah, I'm going to head off down to the valley and hopefully be able to do something, but I'm going to try and hit that T1 heavy. I did manage to get a couple of hits on another tank that was up there. Can't quite get a good shot on that heavy though, so I'm going to have to, well, I'm going to decide to leave him and move on. Now, sorry about that other noise behind me. My kids are off on their holidays at the moment, which, coupled with the fact that unfortunately my mother-in-law got taken into hospital last week, has made it quite tricky to do videos, hence why this one's going up this morning instead of last night, because it's been quite hectic, as you can imagine, which is alright now. She's coming out today, thankfully, so that's all worked out not too bad. Well, I'll say not worked out not too bad, but anyway, it's all good. She's coming out today, she's better. Anyway, there we go. Now, just DPM'd somebody to death over there. I didn't actually pay attention to what it was, but I'm going to carry on moving around the back. And I know it's not a big difference in engine power, but it just, I don't know if it's because I've been driving the Churchill 7 and the Black Prince since the Churchill 1, but this, you know, it does feel to have that slight bit, you know, I don't know, it does seem to make a difference. It's only like 24 horsepower, but it just seems to feel as though it makes a difference. Even though the first Churchill 1 does get a bad rap for being particularly slow, and it, you know, it is going uphill, etc., but it's still faster than the Churchill 7 and the Black Prince. Now, in a minute is where I realise about the speed governor, the fact that you have to activate it, and I'll hit circle and you'll get a little flashing or a little pulsing circle around the speed governor to show it's working. And what it actually does is it works, and then after a certain amount of time it just knackers your engine, so you can then either turn it off or you can leave it on, and I would imagine it will probably kill your engine if you leave it on and continue to use it. So I've worked my way up the hill. I'm going to see if I can get any more damage done to stuff, because at this point it just seemed to be that I'm not going to be able to keep up with the rest of the team. Kind of, you know, feeling, you know, because the indecisiveness at the beginning and because it's slow. So that's why I've come up here to try and get some shots in. And again, I've tried to use a couple of average matches that I had in it, and I've also put a couple of results screens, you know, just pictures at the end as well, because like I did with the Huntsman, I thought that was a decent idea. And again, it gives you guys a few more numbers, you know what I mean, to sort of show what kind of matches I had without sitting through 2 more matches and making it an extremely long video. Now, drop down into the other side into the swamp, and I'm going to just basically keep moving, keep firing, and that's one of the ways to use this, especially in a tier sort of 5 match, and it's just keep moving, keep firing, because if you keep moving they can't get good shots at your weak spots, and your rate of fire is kind of ridiculous with this, so a lot of the time you can just, like I say, just keep moving, keep firing. Now, something that you're going to have to be aware of, especially at range with this gun, is that it reloads quicker than the aiming circle settles down. So at range you cannot keep your finger on the trigger and just keep firing. Well, you can, but you're going to miss a lot more than you're going to hit. However, when you get up close to stuff, you can really put that DPM to work, and you can just keep your finger on the trigger and keep firing at whatever you're firing at. The only thing, like I say, with range is you've got to let that sight settle down again afterwards, because it just reloads quicker than it aims. And that's even with Brothers in Arms and a gun lane drive on here as well. Sorry, just having a drink of my coffee there. Now the M7, I'm not concerned about him. I am on fairly low health. My engine has been damaged now due to the speed governor, so I've turned that off. But we have a friendly medium going in for that M7, so I'm going to ignore him. I can't shoot at him anyway, and I'm pretty confident that, well, there you go, that the medium could have finished him off, and there was a heavy with backup as well. And I'm going to crawl up here because I did have to use my repair kit earlier, and I wish I hadn't. I wasn't quite aware of what it would actually do to my engine. I know it would damage it in some way, but not quite how it would do it. So yeah, I'm quite annoyed that I didn't just keep hold of my repair kit now. But yeah, I definitely can't remember the speed. Can't recommend the speed governor. If you want to increase engine power, like I say, go for the lease oil or something. So I'm just going to keep on crawling forwards, keep an eye on in case anything comes out from behind a rock. The Stug was giving me a bit of a hard time, but I think that was down to HE rounds rather than anything else. But it is all about angling in this. In fact, this and the KV-1, they're good tanks for learning about angling in. Probably the KV-1 a bit more so because this has the weaker turret. But yeah, this is good at side scraping as well. But like I said, in the garage, you can't just sit there because they will just put it through the front of your turret. You are going to have to move in and out, sort of backwards and forwards, to stop them from putting it through your turret front at sort of close ranges. Yeah, didn't notice the Stug quite early enough. Couldn't quite pen him until the last shot, which has got me an eye for an eye, and got the Stug an eye for an eye as we take each other out. That one unfortunately ended up a defeat, but I came out of that with 1500 XP on a defeat and 1300 damage done. Again, just sort of an average match, and then I've used these because it did put me at the top of the table, because they are average. And I think one of the results screen I've got at the end is just to show you just how much XP you can earn in this by doing very, very little. Because of that huge bonus, it is very, very good at crew training. But yeah, it is a damn good crew trainer. And like I again just said in the garage, for those of you that have sort of skipped it, if you're new to the game and you're going down the Russian line and you want a sort of cheap crew trainer, Churchill III, you can't really go wrong with it, really. Anyway, second game for you again. Another tier 5 match. It's just what you seem to get into in this more than anything else. Lost my train of thought then, complete brain fart. Anyway, Siegfried Line. I'm going to go straight for the town. That's where this thing can do really quite well. And there's one point in this where I get myself into, shall we say, a spot of bother. And I really did think that the match was going to be over for me there, but luckily I did manage to have my arse saved by somebody from somewhere, I don't even know where, just saw this shell fly in and just give me a bit of a hand, which was quite amusing. And also, as you can see at this point, I've got the Lend-Lease oil on, and yeah, it makes more of a difference than I thought it would. Again, it's not something I've ever really used, so I think I might have to do that every now and again and stick that on a couple of other very slow tanks. Now I've come in here and set up to do a bit of side scraping, managed to get a hit on the Chi-Nu, but he backs off. And I don't know if he's going to show himself again, but I'm going to keep an eye out. There he is, trying to do some side scraping himself, but it's not a particularly good tank for doing that in, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately. Fortunately for me, unfortunately for the Chi-Nu. But I just feel a bit, I don't know, there's not many allies that come up this end of the town. I do feel a bit like, not exposed, but sort of enclosed. Stug comes hammering around, comes straight for me. I put some shots in, and to be honest, I should have let him I should have let him ram me, because he probably would have finished himself off. But when I tracked him, I decided to try and use him as a bit of cover. But now I am kind of in the shit, and luckily a shell came in from somewhere and took that guy out. In the is that a Skoda? It's a Czech tank, isn't it, that one? I think. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. I don't think it's the Skoda. Anyway, the Czech tank got taken out. I managed to finish off the Stug, but I have been left on 23 health. So I am probably going to have to be quite careful now for the rest of the game. A bit of a foolish move by myself, but again, these things happen. Sometimes you just pop out and all of a sudden you're surrounded because, well, the Stug and the other guy just came tearing out of that road. Managed to get it on the KV-1S. Now, again, with the I've just noticed a glitch on the preview screen, just one of them. I am still having these issues with the capture card and the software. I don't quite know what it is. It's ridiculous on the CPU usage for some reason. I cannot get rid of the preview window to sort of reduce the CPU usage. I think Deseret57 recommended that. It doesn't allow me to not have a preview window when I'm recording, but the laptop I've got has basically got an Intel i7 processor, something like a 770, something like that. It's way more than the capture card even recommended, never mind minimum specifications, but for some reason it's just hammering my CPU usage. So I've changed some settings and it's fine nearly all the time, apart from just every now and again there is just a slight sort of glitch, which we saw then when I was in the town. So I do apologise. I am looking into replacing the capture card and getting a different one, because I just think I've picked the wrong one, to be honest. These things happen, you know. But yeah, it's the same brand as my first one, but I don't know what's up with this one. Anyway, enough of that. There's only this guy left in the AMX-40 down there, and I really didn't expect to get him with that. I missed the first couple, but that one just went straight through the back of his turret, and I managed to sneak the last kill of the game. Now again, I don't think I put in a particularly, large amount of shots or anything like that. But on a victory, I came out of that with 2,873 XP. Now, that's a hell of a lot. That's not a daily double, and that's at tier 5. It does have fantastic XP earning potential when it comes to training your crews, and hopefully, if we ever get the thingy crew training from the PC. I can't think what it is. Enhanced crew training, something like that. Anyway, basically what happens is the XP doesn't go onto the tank. I think it all goes into the crew. And if we ever get that on here for something like the Churchill III, you'll be able to train crews up so quickly. Anyway, these are the couple of results screen that I was on about from another couple of matches. And again, you know, that one was a good one, but it locked up halfway through. So yes, really quite frustrated with that one. And I think it might be the next one. Yeah, this one, 2,000 damage. Sorry, 2,000 XP from, I think it was something like 6 hits? No, 9. 9 penetrating hits, and I came out of it with 2,000 XP, so that kind of just shows you how much XP that thing can earn. But anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully I'll be back later on with another video, if all goes well, and until then, take care of that, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.